I haven't done a stream of consciousness recording like this in a while. Um, so I don't know where this is gonna go. If it's gonna go on YouTube, it's gonna go on TikTok, because I don't know how long I'm gonna talk. So we'll just see what happens. So I was listening to a video about a woman realizing her and her husband were not in alignment. And I was thinking about the moment I knew and realizing how many moments I knew that me and whoever, I'm not going to limit this to just my ex husband, me and whomever just weren't in alignment. But because I wasn't raised, socialized to trust my intuition, I didn't listen to it when I heard it. And I think a lot of times people are like, how do I know? Your intuition speaks through your body. Your clairs speak through your senses, but your intuition is a body sensation. There'll be something happening inside your body. And that's something them crystals, incense, and sage is just not going to teach you. You only learn that when you like sitting with someone who's teaching you about spirituality, not just esoteric, not just metaphysical, someone that's teaching you spirit. And so when I look backwards, I can remember these moments where the feeling was in my body like a volcano trying to erupt, and I'm trying to hold this boulder on top of the volcano so it don't erupt because I'm afraid of what's going to happen to my world if I allow this volcano to erupt. This happened in multiple times in my life. I only speak about my marriage, and I'll say even the last person I dated, because they are recent. They're easy memories to reach back and grab onto. There are moments in my marriage where I would find myself outside in my car at night, having put everybody to sleep. I'd be outside of my car screaming and crying and wailing, and then wipe the tears from my face, come back in the house like everything's hunky dory when every fiber of my spirit was screaming, put your kids in the car and drive off. Don't stay. You and the kids just drive off and go somewhere. I was afraid for a good many years. I was afraid that I'd fail. I can't do this. What if I have to do that? Da, 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 da. I was afraid. I was afraid. And needing to do regular forgiveness work where I forgive myself for being afraid. Anyone knows that where I worked at the time that I was married would realize, what do you mean? You were afraid you couldn't take care of your children. Look at how much money we're making. That sounds logical. And it is. But fear is not logical. Fear is simply going off of living experience. I know what it meant to be unsheltered and not have a place to stay. And the idea that I could have that happen while I had my children would not go away. I was afraid. I was afraid. And if I'm brutally honest, I was afraid of what he'd do if I left. I was afraid of what he'd do if I left. Words can cut like a punch sometimes. And it felt like I had been hit a multitude of times over the years. So I didn't have the strength, or I didn't believe I had the strength to walk. And this woman said something in the video. She said, like, when she realized what she needed and she started to speak on it. And I'm like, I know that feeling. I started going to therapy. This started even before spirituality found me. It's like I'm going to therapy, and all of a sudden, things that I would normally be quiet about, my tongue is untied. I say it, but the ramifications are so great, and I'm afraid to say it again. But a few times it was like a compulsion. I couldn't stop it as much as I wanted to. And the ramifications were so great until one day he says, I don't want to be married to you anymore. And there, my greatest fear made manifest. And, but it was also the greatest freedom because the next day, after the tears settled and all the things settled, I immediately went to a lawyer. And you made me think about you were afraid it happened. I was. But it was like when you're in a harmful dynamic, a harmful relationship, a lot of times people are expecting this to be physical. It's not always physical. A lot of times it's mental, emotional, and spiritual. Things that you cannot see. They're just simply being experienced. And nobody will listen to you and nobody will understand you. So you don't tell anybody that it's happening. Even when I was last working at pizza, I realized it was a similar thing. I had tied myself, obligated myself, and I said, I got to be loyal. I can't leave. I got to be loyal. I can't leave. It was toxic, tainted. And then one day I get a call and they say, I am not working there no more. And I immediately tendered my resignation. It was all I needed to break free. It was the it was all I needed to break free. And so when it happens again and it's like, okay, you're not leaving and you're shaking with anger. There's this guy that's on TikTok talking about like just because I'm wearing glasses, it don't mean that I'm not a fucking savage. And I'm just like, yeah, yeah. And so I remember the moment that the volcano is like, I'm about to erupt and I'm fighting. I won't let you. I won't let you erupt. By the time the volcano wants to erupt in my marriage, I have at least found spirituality. I've found spirituality, even if it is just a tchotchke spirituality with the cards and stones and incense and sage. I was talking to my Ori and my Ekun each and every day, and they weren't going to let me not let it erupt. And it did in the most quiet eruption. But it was still a force that needed to happen. And so I went to see the lawyer. And I think I had drafted the decree within 24 hours. I had been ready to go. I was ready to go. I was ready to go much longer than I'll say here. And I just kept fighting it. I just kept fighting against it. And maybe part of me needed to say, so I had all the children that needed to come by way of that marriage. Because once I had my youngest, it was definitely like, it's time to go. And I'm like, what do you mean? I just had a baby. I just got pregnant. Yeah, but that's what you were there for, to have those children. You can go now. I can't go now. I've got children. It's only was for you to have those children. You can go now. Can't. So I stay. And what I realized as I continue to heal, because healing is ongoing, and I don't sit and look at myself each and every day in the mirror and say, oh my God, you're so broken, you need to heal, because that's not what healing looks like. That's what it looks like on social media. It looks like I notice a thing and then I address it. Something comes up in the dream and I address it. A shadow is triggered and I address it. But then I was an active noticing, feeling. And this morning, the thought came to me is that my spirituality needs spirit in order for it to be effective. My spirituality needs spirit in order for it to be effective. It is okay if you deal in the esoteric and not spirituality, because those two things can be separate. It's okay if you deal in the metaphysical and not spirituality, because those two things can be done separately. But with my spirituality, I have everything. With my spirituality, I have the esoteric and the metaphysical with the spirits. And I realized this morning, I guess, because a thought came to me, is that my spirituality needs spirit. Some people are going to be okay and find their way with just crystals and a few affirmations to say. I need more. I need spirit. Some people are going to be okay and dealing the metaphysical, and they're going to do with sacred geometry and all these things that these gurus say that they stole from their African ancestors, but they won't give their African ancestors credit. And I have a problem with that, but that's a conversation for a different day. But they don't necessarily have spirit. Even in the acknowledgement of their own spirit, they still are mostly in the metaphysical, not in the spirit. I need spirit. And I need to live a spiritual life, not just have a spiritual practice. And more, it's reminding me that this is what I need to do. I need those moments where I can sit with the energies and feel what they feel like, spend time with them. I remember spending time with them. And a lot of times people are like, I need spirituality, I need the spirit too. Have you learned what the spirit feels like? Or do you just know what spirits feel like? But have you actually sat with someone who could truly call upon that specific spirit that you keep trying to talk to, work with, instead of just giving gratitude to? Have you had someone teach you how to sit with that spirit? Someone who carried that spirit, who is a priest of that spirit. Have you sat with them to learn how to feel that spirit? I feel like my first mentor helped me to feel the spirit that is most prominent, which was my Ori. How to hear her speak, I had to hear her speak and talk to me and strengthen that bond. I don't think she realized that's what she was doing because she's not in tradition. She didn't practice Ifa. She didn't practice Isheshe. She didn't deal with Orisha. She dealt with self-love and the ancestors. She dealt with ancestral veneration, and she dealt with Ori. She just didn't call it that. And I'm so supremely grateful that I opened up the possibility that my elder was going to be a younger, but this elder in spiritual walk and life and experience, and allowed them to share their experience and their wisdom that they had gained through their experience and to teach me. I remember as a little girl wanting to be a witch. I wanted it so badly to be an extremely powerful witch. And looking back now, I realize now, how could I have been a witch? Because at that time, that would have been associated with being a Wiccan. And when was the last time you met an 80, 90-year-old true to life Wiccan? Because if it's Wiccan, chances are they wouldn't look like me. So when was the last time you saw a true to life Wiccan? And I'm just like, my craft would look a little different because I need an elder. I need someone whose feet I can sit at, not someone who just who I can, you know, get a cup of, I need someone, I need to sit and watch you do what you do. And then I need to turn around and see, how do I do what I do like you or not like you? I just need to see how you do it so that I can do it too. I just need to see how you do it so that I can do it too. I am in a place now where my spirituality is like, I want to breathe. Spirituality is like, I want to breathe. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, you should breathe. And so the other day I did candles and I hadn't done that in a while. I hadn't done it in a while. Another day I'll do something else that I haven't done in a while. The spirituality says it's still holding back. And I want to breathe. So I want to breathe. I want to breathe and let spirit move. And maybe this will be a call out so that the ancestors who know that there are other energies who want to support me, but I can't call them to help me because I don't know how. I don't have a prayer, a song, a set of instructions that some old person has passed along. I don't have them. I see what they put in the books that we find in these book nooks and the corners of the YouTubes. And what I know now is that it's not enough. It is not enough. It isn't. I need spirit in my spirituality. I need someone whose spirit is ancient to sit with me and say, this is how you call on this divinity. And that could be all that they're meant to teach me, and I am okay with that. Understanding that I would love to set an altar up for Marie when I have more space to do so. But I'd love to have an altar for her because I know she's there. I've at least had a divination to tell me. You really should get a divination to tell you thoughts and feelings. You know, if sorrows, prayers are not enough, thoughts and feelings aren't enough. Get a divination. See how that common sense works? So I at least know actual factual that it's been confirmed. What I'm supposed to do hasn't come up yet. It's like make an altar. How? I've seen plenty of videos and they say do this, do that, do that, do that. I don't feel when I look at this person that they are an elder. I feel like they also saw something on a YouTube or a book and that's what they've been doing. I need someone old. I need someone old and when I run across them and I see them, it's like, oh yeah, you the one. You the one. Can I get just a few hours? It don't have to be a lifetime. I just might need a few hours and catch you at the right time so that you can help me commune with this divine energy. So I know it's that divine energy that I'm communing with. And what's cool is it's okay because I can take my abuela and make sure that along the way that we're not being led astray. There's so many that I would pay homage to if I knew the right way. Sometimes I have to take one of those days where I feel compelled to say just a general thank you to my entire spiritual court, the ones whose names I know, whose traditions I know how to practice, and the ones I know are waiting for me to learn, the ones who know I may not learn in this lifetime, but know that I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I know that each and every time I tell my Ori, thank you, my Ori will tell whomever was tapped to help me, thank you. I need spirit in my spirituality. I need spirit. I enjoy the esoteric wisdom of astrology and numerology, human design, and gene keys. I enjoy those things, and they work to my benefit, and I am grateful. But that is some of the esoteric. I appreciate the understanding of Ashe and how to sit in the energies of myself and make things change in my life. I appreciate the metaphysics. I do. But that metaphysical awareness comes from my ego, which means I still need spirituality. I still need spirit. I could never continue to keep quoting some of these individuals, knowing that they stole their wisdom from my melanated ancestors. I need my melanated ancestors to give credit, even if they don't. I don't know that ancestor's name. I know it's an ancestor's name that should be said. I don't have to know which one. I know there is one, and so I'm just going to give gratitude to our collective Egungun for all the metaphysical wisdom that we have been able to get access to, and I hope that one day they will get the full credit that they deserve for that wisdom and that medicine being handed down to us. My spirituality needs spirit. So as I have woken up so late today was a late rising day. So I am trying to go ahead and knock out preparing my children's plates so that they can eat, so that I can do my veneration and get ready for my divination and have a beautiful Thursday. Maybe I'll go check the transits to see why I'm having this feeling today. But until then, this has been a stream of consciousness with Ia Owini. Or Dabo.